Hello everyone, this is Jared playing Oxygen Not Included. I'm very excited about this particular episode because I have some new things. Depending on how long you played Oxygen Not Included, this may not be new to you, but it's certainly new to me, so I'm excited about it. You might be thinking it's along the lines of the Moo update or Moo Song update. No, that is coming soon. I'll be doing an episode when I get to that point. But let me explain what I'm going to be doing. First of all, in the last episode, I turned this research reactor on. That in itself is nothing new to me. I'm going to be deriving power on these steam turbines. But the new bit is this section down here with this array of steam turbines that's going to be taking the nuclear waste, taking the heat here, and getting extra power. So in addition of 10 steam turbines up here, I'm hoping to get at least some of these 10 down here. Furthermore, I'm hoping to turn that nuclear waste to solid material to increase radiation point right here, far above what I'm going to be getting from the research reactor. So that's one thing. Another thing is planting wild sleet wheat. And that in itself is not new, but I've got a new technique thanks to Andrew that left a comment in the last episode, so I'll show that pretty soon. And then the third thing I'm very, very excited about, I am going to be melting the inside of our rocket and actually trying to destroy these two tiles. And this was a comment that someone wrote about doing this with nuclear waste. Not sure I'm going to be using that. I've done a little bit of research on this, just a tiny bit, but I think I have an idea. I'm not going to just do that on this particular rocket, probably make a new rocket. But before I get to that, I have put these tiling here, or this, I keep drywalling at this point. What I want to do is get research complete on Mission Control Station. And that is progressing a little bit there. Lots of rad bolts going into the material study terminal. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to send this rocket over to this world to get more enriched uranium, because I'm very low. I suspect there's going to be some further down on this particular asteroid. I might drop a rover and get them to dig a path down and come with a dupe later on to pick up that missing material. And that's just so that I can get this thing fed, because right now, well, you can see it already doesn't have enough enriched uranium. I can generate a few more pieces this way, but I would think it's going to be far more efficient if I get more of that from that asteroid. So we'll be going on a mission. Oh, hold on. Just noticed now, I'm low on carbon dioxide. I only need to fill this guy here. Why is... I know I have lots of carbon dioxide. It must be just... yeah, this is why. It's cut here. So this should start the loading process, so we can go on that mission. I also should probably go inside that rocket and provide a little bit of food for the dupe that's going to be on this mission. Temporarily destroy that and put some food there. Alright, about to take this rocket off on a mission to send another rover. Don't have a mission control station. I'm hoping on the next rocket that gets launched with an actual Trailblazer, I'll have that speed boost. They're not going very far, so I'm not terribly worried about that. Let's look at the space map here. The idea is I want them to land right here. They're going to put down another rover, and that's going to... then the rocket's going to be coming back. So let's see, 0.4 cycles, that should not take too long. Space cleared out here. I just need that research glass to put on top of that, because the mission control station is going to need to be able to do that. So this appears to be one of those really irritating situations with a pip where I cannot convince them to plant sleet wheat right here, even though everything I see should work. There's some wild plants down here. I do not suspect that they're actually in the way. I'll try taking them out, but we may just have to skip that individual one. There is some sleet wheat there. No reason that I can see that the pip should plant anything, but I'll give them a little bit more time and then we'll move on. I'm going to show you, actually do that now, the trick I learned from Andrew. So I previously was using a trapdoor here. If I open this up, I'm giving the base access to sedimentary rock, and I was using that to essentially have the dupes not be able to build a ladder on these individual tiles. But if you, instead of doing a ladder, you do the crown molding, then in this case, it doesn't matter what material it is. It could be the sedimentary rock, which I've locked away, or igneous rock, which I've plenty of. If I put that right here, I'm going to prep the next 2 sections where I'm going to be working with the pips. This is going to prevent the pips from planting anything right here. Still going to try to wait and see if I can get them here, but I can cancel this, and I don't have to hide material away like I was before. So this whole section is really no longer necessary. So anytime I build a wild farm in the future, I'm definitely going to be using crown molding instead of ladders to direct the pips. Much nicer. And the reason these don't get built is because there's no tile above them, hence they're invalid, so that dupes will ignore them, but the pips don't ignore them. Pips won't plant anything right there until you actually hit cancel and make them go away. So very much thankful for that. It makes this job all the easier. So rocket is arriving at the border of this world. We're not going to actually land, we're just going to deploy a rover pretty much in a similar location I did previously. Just going to go verify that that actually made it down. If it did, it's on its way down. Good. I can immediately send this dude back home. And then just let the rover do a little bit of work. Main thing is I can see a little bit of construction would be helpful. Main thing though is I want to continue digging down in this world so that I can get access, or at least as close as possible access to the actual enriched uranium, which I'm expecting to be down here. Don't actually see it yet, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, it does say in the star map. You can see it in the picture. It's got to have radioactive, and it's particularly those betas that I want to get access to. So use the rover to explore that world. Now that I've got a little bit of time, I'm going to work on the area that's going to melt the side of my rocket, or at least that's the hope for what I'm going to be able to achieve. If you're following along in this, don't consider this a guide. This is very much a playthrough. Wait to skip ahead to see if this actually works if you want to try this. But here's the idea. I've got a metal refinery. I want to pump some liquid into it, continually heat it up, and then direct that towards a rocket and melt the side of that. So that's the first step to all this, is getting my metal refinery in place. So that's going to need some power. I'm going to want to keep it cool. I'm not going to put it in a room, which means it's not going to be exposed to gas. So the only way to keep it cool is this conductive panel. I don't know if it's the only way, but the way that I'm going to be keeping it cool anyway. I also, this is just more of efficiency thing, but I want to put this guy here, an auto sweeper, in. Put that right there, and that's got to also be kept cool. So again, another conductive panel. Go like this. And the idea is we're going to push some coolant into those two things. So we'll have to have an inline and an outline for that. And we're going to go down and access the ethanol line that's continually going around. This pipe isn't being used, so I'm going to connect to this. Maybe we'll cross here. Actually, don't want things to freeze. What liquid did I put in there? Yeah, brine. Let's have this as insulated when it's going through this zone. Go up like this. So we'll have an up line and a down line. And we'll do some cuts here so it doesn't send ethanol places that we don't expect. Let's get rid of that liquid bridge. Okay, so the idea is that's going to keep those two machines cool while they're out in space. It's important that they're out in space because I'm going to be having insulated pipes made of obsidian. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be pushing very hot liquid in here. I don't want that liquid to go through pipes that are in the gaseous area and take on a lot of heat. So making sure these pipes are first of all made of obsidian such that they don't melt. That is a high temperature that it melts at. Actually, just while I'm looking at this now, let's move this down because I want to be able to get this insulated pipe out like this. Make that out of obsidian as well. I'm not sure if that's needed, but just in case. And now I will have an in and an out line. So we'll design the rest of this system later. But the idea is very hot liquid is going to be, or you know, just I'll just say just liquid is going to go in here, continually getting hotter, and it's going to be outputting. And I'll continue to do that process until it's hot enough to reach the temperatures necessary to melt a rocket. Now let's talk about this. I had assumed that this material here, the rocket wall, it says it's made out of steel, is impervious. But someone made the comment about melting it, and I've just been so curious. I'm like, if I can actually do that, that is actually amazing. Because I could get the dupes out and build stuff and have a rocket that's many times bigger. So this, if I can achieve it, would be awesome. But what makes me think that maybe this is possible, I'm still not certain, but maybe this is possible because it has a melting point of 2400. That's high. And I've never really heated anything up to that temperature before. That's the first time doing that. So again, this is experimental, but that's my idea. That's what I want to go for. So I've got this process to heat things up. I'm, of course, going to need a rocket where I can actually push that liquid in and out. I'm going to add a little bit of space here above. It should be more than enough above this so it doesn't add heat. And then when that platform is ready, I'm just going to build a simple rocket to be able to push this liquid in and out. Now, okay, this is all fine and great. The question next is, what liquid do I use? Someone made a comment about nuclear waste, and okay, let's kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but I was concerned about nuclear waste, because if you click on nuclear waste liquid, it says it turns to a gas at 500 degrees, meaning I don't see how that's going to work unless they were intending to use it as a gas. I'm preferring the liquid. Anytime I do temperature exchanges, I always prefer liquid over gas because it's a lot faster. So I'm thinking, unless there's some other property in nuclear waste I don't understand, like the fact it's radioactive, and maybe it's not about the heat, but anyway, I don't think I'm going to experiment with that. I went through already a number of liquid options, one of which I liked was gold, because gold turns to gas at 2800. I only need 2400, so I could heat that up, and as long as I keep gold below that, that's going to work. But I don't have any gold amalgam, or gold for that matter. So I could either get some. I am on my way to a world where I expect that to be. But I did find one other thing, and I must admit I did see a quick video on some people's attempts to do this, and it seems quite complicated. So I'm worried my simple solution to this isn't going to work, but here's my idea. If I use steel instead, now steel is a liquid, melts at 3800 degrees, so I can get it much hotter and not really worry about it turning to a gas. And it turns to a solid at 1000 or so. Oddly though, steel, when it's in a solid, has to get up to 2400 to become a liquid, which is really bizarre. I don't know if that's it seems to be a special property of solid where you could get it up to 2400. But according to this, unless this is wrong, once I achieve steel as a liquid, it won't turn back to a solid until it goes way down to 1000 and so. Which is a really nice property for this, and one of the reasons I want to use steel. Now, okay, that's great. I've made the decision I want to use steel. I'm literally going to be pushing steel inside this metal refinery if this all actually works. with the idea of heating steel itself up to generate steel or whatever material I want to put in here. I'm going to try for steel for the fact that that produces the most amount of heat, but I can produce any other metals, and that's also going to produce heat. Okay, so the question now should be, how am I going to make liquid freaking steel? And this is something I had to look up online. So this is not my idea, but this is just something that I have seen. And I'm taking this, and I'm trying to simplify it, and I want to ask, hey, if nothing else, I'll learn why you can't do this. But I'm putting drywall in here. Going to make that out of obsidian. I don't want that to melt. But the idea is, if I make a thermo aquatuner, if I make it out of steel, I can actually melt the thermo aquatuner. So let's get a ladder up to this so the dupes can actually visit this thing. It's going to need some power. The idea is, I'm actually going to have liquid steel sitting inside this, because aquatuner produces a lot of heat, and if you run it in space, it's only going to heat itself. And the idea is, if I can get it to be at a temperature above the melting point of steel, 2400 or so, it'll turn to liquid before it actually breaks. As long as I can do that before it breaks, that's not going to be a problem. Now that's obviously going to melt anything else that's in there, except for I've got airflow tiles. Well, it's not going to interact with that. Well, that's really nice. It's going to interact with the obsidian in the back, but the obsidian's really has a really high melting point, so I'm not concerned about that. It's going to need power. I don't want to mix any other types of liquid in here, so I'm going to put heavy watt wires made out of steel, so that if that actually melts, it's just going to add more steel to my mix. I don't have to worry about filtering it out. From this point on, I can just bring in regular power, and we'll start running it. Of course, we're going to need a liquid line going in and out, so I'm going to make that of insulated obsidian at this point here and here. And from this point on, technically, because it's out in space, I really don't need it, so it's going to connect. Let's see, we've got an output line here. Actually, hold on, maybe I should have done this. It's going to go into that machinery. And I kind of want to direct a priority order here, so that once this is destroyed, I still have my ethanol line going around. I can use that with a liquid pipe. So the idea is, it's going to push it into this machine if it can. That's going to go from here to here to go to input, and then it's going to go out here. If that doesn't happen instead, I technically don't need this to be insulated. Instead, if this thing is not running, because either possibly it's disabled, doesn't have power, or doesn't exist if it melts, it will send liquid here and have this be pushed down in priority order. So yeah, whew. So if I get this right, let's go through this from the top. I'm going to be sending in ethanol. That's going in this direction. It's going to be going up here in time. If that's the case, we don't need this out of obsidian. We're going to have it up, up, down, down, just to pass over these two lines here. That's going to be sending this up into here. It's going to actually do cooling of these two buildings so they can run in space. So boom, boom. It's going to push it into this machine if it can. Otherwise, it's going to go around here and go out here. And we're going to continually cool it off until this thing melts. I want to make sure I turn this on at a particular time, so I'm going to cut it so I can choose when it can actually go on. And that's going to make my steel, and the hope is I'm going to be able to have a pump built that might melt or break. It's probably going to break, but I'm hoping to get enough of the steel out in time before it actually breaks. That's I guess that's a big question mark, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's let the dupes do a little bit of building here. Maybe I'll just do one thing. In this bin, I'm just going to store some metal ore. In this case, it's going to be iron. And the other inputs to steel, that is going to be consumable ores. Yeah, consumable ores. Pause it right here. Lime refined carbon. Now I'm storing those two things in the current refinery, which I'm not going to be using for the time being anyway. So let's kick all the lime refined carbon out, and in time the dupes will bring it up there. All right. Yeah, let's get the dupes working, and I'll be back when that's built. I cannot, for the life of me, see why there are certain tiles. I think I'm just skipping this one. For some reason, the pips have decided no one wants to touch it. Let's look at the material. It's igneous rock, the same as the two neighbors, and they both have sleet wheat. I don't know what the pattern is. I have this floor here, which is like no misses whatsoever. The same here, but I had the same thing happen at this zone. I could not convince the pips to plant something right here. Just gonna ignore it. We're gonna move along. It's not gonna really matter. Now that I've got this filled, I can wrangle all these pips. Instead of dropping them here, let's copy that setting. They'll be dropped here instead. Lower this priority and destroy it. We can destroy this. And let's put in 20 pieces of sleet weight at high priority. And we'll continue the process. I already have this marked out. So using the new crown molding trick, the first thing that's going to be planted, I hope, will be right here, and we'll continue on. Just looking to make sure there's no seeds of any other type, because I only want sleet wheat planted. That looks good to me. I'm going to skill scrub a dupe. I've decided that is going to be a dupe that has good digging skills. That's going to be a shovel. And preparing them to be one of the dupe that's going to go on this rocket. Also, the other thing I've got to do, I'm going to destroy this and change this out for trailblazing module. So I can send two dupes, one that can drive, and one that'll be able to land. And we'll actually get, actually speaking of which, let's check out on the progress of this. How do I have two rovers? Why is that rover so confused why I'm actually seeing a rover here. It's kind of become a ghost. It's not moving anymore. Confused. Okay, I'm just don't understand. Was not expecting that anyway. Yeah, okay, let's just trying to ignore that for a moment. I want to get access to these guys here. I'll even preemptively hit auto harvest at a high priority. No, I don't think that's something that these guys can do, but when the dupes do arrive, they're at least close to that zone. And it's going to be very cold, and I don't want any liquid in here. So, also, there's only certain spots the rovers can actually dig around. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get them to continually dig down. We'll get kind of like get this liquid out of the way. We've got this that we have to go around, and I'm going to build a ladder system like this. The idea is, yeah, I'm not going to be able to get these guys down here, but the dupes can come down here in time and dig a path to visit this, pick up some enriched uranium, and be able to be on our way back home with that. And maybe I'll do a little bit of construction just to make sure there's quality of life type stuff for the dupes all ready to go when they arrive. A little bit of mopping, but that's not something the rovers can do. Alright, so I now have the cooling going through. It is not going to go into this guy because it's not powered, but the moment this is powered, it's going to actually start heating up. I don't want to do that just yet. I want to check a few more things. But in the meantime, that should be taking down the temperature of the metal refinery. It's getting down to freezing temperature. That's good. I just want to make sure I can operate it in space, and it's going to be nice and cool. I can't run right now because there's no coolant. Well, that's where this is going to come into effect. So before I put this in place, I want to have the ins and out of this. Let's start inside the rocket. So I have done a little bit of experimenting with this. The idea is, doesn't really, in my mind, I might as well use this smaller rocket here. I'm just going to get this actually out of the way. Because it's 32 or by 32, or maybe a little bit bigger if you count the hidden parts, regardless of what type of rocket you have. So there you figured, well, if I actually can melt the walls, I might as well build a smaller one so it's smaller on the outside, bigger on the inside. Alright, let's see. I guess we're making a TARDIS. Okay, so I still want to have it insulated when it comes in. So insulate out of obsidian because I don't want the pipe itself to melt. I'm going to have this hot steel, at least that's the goal, go down here. And we're going to be accessing these two tiles. We're going to be careful about this. I've done a little bit of experimenting on this so far. And one thing I did learn is there's a lot of temperature exchange that has to happen here, meaning that the steel is going to cool down too quickly inside the pipes. So my first thought was put radiant pipes, and the question is, well, where do I make it out of? I can't make it out of steel because, well, I'm hoping to get to a melting point where it's going to turn to liquid. But I actually don't want radiant pipes to begin with anyways. I'm going to put a single piece of just regular pipe right here, just to do the initial warming up of this. Now, when this gets above 1,000 degrees, that means there's no threat of this making steel solid, because remember, steel melts, or solidifies rather, at 1,000 or so degrees. Now, in my little bit of experimenting, just before I get going with this, a single piece is enough to keep things running such that this liquid steel doesn't become a solid and break in pipes. So that's what I'm hoping to do here. And again, I'm not 100% certain. And by the way, if anyone sees anything I'm doing wrong with this, by all means, please leave a note in the comments. Because if this is at all possible, I want to figure this out. This may not work in this particular experiment, but if it is possible, even if it is complex, to me the value is worth it, because I really want to build out in this space. Equally, if you're certain that there was some update in one of the games and you know that it's not possible anymore, maybe it used to be, well, let me know. You know, that's too bad, but it is what it is. But I'm certainly want to give this a go. From the comments, I understand it is, but there is a recent theme update, the Moo song. Maybe the developers has taken that ability out. Okay. All right. There's another part to this, which is I want to make sure that the liquid that goes in here, making this out of insulated pipes, we want to make sure that that liquid is hot enough when it goes in. So we've got this liquid shut off. I'm going to make that out of steel. I don't think it really necessarily needs to be, but because I'm experimenting with this, I'd rather just take some of the elements out of risk. And I've got a lot of steel anyway, so whatever. You know what? And the rocket is going to be taken off if this works. So I don't want things to melt. But anyway. So I'm taking the temperature of this. And basically saying, okay, if you're warm enough, or you're... Don't get anywhere close to 1,000, because that's things will go bad. I want to avoid that situation because it'll turn into a solid and break the pipes. We have a liquid bridge right here. Let's make that out of obsidian. And I've got an insulated pipe. So out of the rocket is going to be the hot steel. It's going out in priority order. It's going to be pushing itself out in this direction. And then if it's not hot enough, instead of going into the rocket, instead it'll go up here, feed into this liquid bridge, and converge at this point. And then we've got essentially an in, so this is a very hot steel, and an out. You know, a steel that has been cooled down and exchanges the heat inside the rocket with that rocket wall. Alright, now, everything is set except for I want someplace to store stuff. Now, I'm not 100% certain of this, but I'm going to make a liquid reservoir out of steel. I think as long as this sits in space and sits on an airflow tile, the hot liquid here won't affect the actual building itself. Meaning, it's not going to melt. If it does, that's kind of terrible. But that's the assumption. It may very well be that I go back and have to reverse a little bit at some point, but this is the plan. With all this said, I think everything's in place just to connect this whole thing up. So I've got an in and out here, I've got an in and out there, and a place to store stuff. So this is the out. Let's see, if I direct that to go into this guy. And then I send this to go in here. I guess technically I can get rid of that. And then I connect this down to here. I think this is enough. And maybe this is where someone's looking at this and can easily see what the component I'm missing, but the hope is well, there's one other piece. Once I have a liquid bridge here, I want to be able to take that from here. Whoops. Take that from here and send it in here with... Hold on. No. Let's go back. And I want to push it in here. So the idea is this is going to be new liquid, hot steel if it actually works, going in here, and this is going to be the steel that's heated up, and it can kind of take turns while I'm adding this. I don't know how many of these guys I need to melt down to make this happen, but I mean, we'll see. So ethanol is going around. Okay. Do I take the plunge and enable the... Let's just do it. I mean, I can always reverse, but... Okay, so here it is. It's running. Ethanol, instead of going through the bypass, should be going through here. As long as there's enough power for this guy, this should all work out. Ah, speaking of which... Okay, that might be part of the risk of this. Do we have... These two guys are tuned up. Make sure that they're actually connected. Make sure we don't have any other aqua tuners running up here. They're all off. I can try creating more of this, but I'm not sure if that's going to necessarily help. Well, because it's important that I've got enough power, because this is what I've learned by watching other people melt their steel. Is, okay, watch this temperature. It's up to 130. It's 140. That's unfortunately no power right now. But while it's in no power, I'm well above the breaking point, or at least I'm going to be. And this machine is going to start to break when it gets to that point. I think it's 275, if I'm correct. Thermal aqua tuner is 200 and some, so it's fine right now. But once I get to 275, we're going to see this breakdown. But the idea is, the ingenious thing that people have discovered is the breakdown rate is faster, or sorry, slower than the heat up rate. This is heating up very, very quickly. A little bit issue with if I run out of power, but we'll see if I can get the lights on this machine. And why is this? Oh, this isn't being destroyed because it's priority 1. Let's make that a 5. That would explain that a little bit. But if this runs often enough, it will heat up to the temperature of 2400 or so degrees, melt the liquid. And I guess that's kind of the big experiment so far. So let me see if I can do anything to generate power while this is running. Alright, just to run this experiment, making coal power, I already have super sustainable achievement, so I'm not worried about burning coal. We've got lots of coal. But if I were to do, damage over, wait, can't actually, that's a good thing, oddly. One of the few times I expect some to overheat. This might not work out if I don't have enough power, if the dupes can't build that quick enough. I guess they are repairing it. And it's going to burn steel. But the hope is, it's currently 500 degrees. Hope we can get up to 2400 melting point before this thing fully runs out. And it runs out pretty slow. Okay, there is one other thing. This is not related. Let's just do get whatever is printed here. Some muck root, why not? Liquid is getting a little bit low. And this is an important thing. Now, Oh, speaking of which, I've been forgetting about the pips. They planted 3 there, so I can clear this out so they can get that over there. With all this sleet wheat in existence, and the first ones that I planted are at 65%, they're not consuming liquid, but I've got a farm over here that's taking water. It's taking polluted water, and these guys here are making more sleet wheat. I'm going to start to decommission this because we already have most of the wild farm in place. I don't think it'll be too long, and that's going to reduce our water consumption. That's important because, as I've shown down here, we're quite low with brine, and we're even lower with polluted water. I'm a bit worried, so what I'm going to do, I've got 3 dupes over in this world. I had planned this out, and we've got to kind of put the last pieces of this together, so I'm going to put a pipe from here. That's going to direct, let's disconnect that. This salt water to go all the way down here. Let's see if it's actually made its full. Okay, it has. Excellent. It's going into the teleporter. Once that is done, I'll be able to take it from here. We'll do a connection right there. That's going to go all the way down here. Just get rid of that just to clean it up. No, hold on. Okay, so this is going to continue on until it gets to this point, and then we have to decide the best way to get to the bottom, the base. If I can get in here, oops, no, let's not connect that. And make a path, I will be able to get more salt water from the other world. So we can rely on that as a liquid source. Oh, come on now. Alright, I'm going to utilize the fact that there's a bridge here from the past. And I think, yeah, we can make our way down. Liquid bridge right here. Boom. Boom. Make a cut like that. Do another one. So this is a priority thing since, well, we don't want to run out of water for our oxygen production system. So I'm going to do this alongside the coal power process. What's this being used for? Oh, that's our polluted water line. This is empty. I'll leave that intact. So this is our salt water. Wow, you know what? I know what I'll do. Oops. I'll get down. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get over here and go across. This is taking the brine or salt water down. Across. And let's take this from here. I don't know how I jumped across that, but eventually, here we are, finally, I'm able to dump it right here, which is the whole point. And the reason I want to do that, because this is a very cold area. This is going to be warmer salt water that's going to be coming in, so it'll be a nice thing. Now, the only thing is, this is not an actual source of salt water unless I kick the door here. I'm not really prepared to do that. I could do some digging in here to get access to the salt water that's there, but very limited source. I'm hoping to have the shutdown of these 2 farms. I'm going to have to plant some wild pinch-up plants somewheres, but when that happens, I'll be able to do that, and that I'm hoping will mean that I'm consuming less water than I'm able to produce with the 2 geysers that is here. If not, I will have to get access to that 3rd geyser and figure out a process to make sure it cools itself down. So Pips, you've got a job to do. Let's go check on our power plant. Yeah, a little bit of work. I'll be back when the dupes have finished some of their construction of this. So just looking over here, I make an assumption here. I see 2 rovers. I was only expecting one because one landed. I was pretty certain the rover that was there before had died. I don't know if this is a bug or possibly I thought the rover was dead. It was just out of tasks. Maybe rovers don't spend their battery when they're not moving. It's possible that's what have happened. Either way, I now have 2 rovers accessible to do things. So I'll take advantage of that and start exploring a little bit more around this asteroid. But the main thing is I want to get the dupes to have access down here. I'm thinking... Oh, we don't have an oxygen production. Oh no, we do it. Actually, it's not true. We just don't have power connected to it yet. So let's do that. And do I have liquid water going into this? Not at the moment, but I just need the dupe to run on this. And if I even take some glass with me, I'll be able to make some solar panels. Just to reduce the amount of time the dupes have to spend on the manual generator once they're here. So our coal power plants are now online. They are not tuned up, but Dupe should be doing that soon enough with the power control station. The smart battery telling it to go on and off. About 30 and 60 or so. Coal's being stored here and put in with auto sweeper. Currently that's generating 1200 watts of power. That's enough for just the aqua tuner itself, and with the tune-up there'll be even more. So hopefully that's going to greatly reduce the amount of breaks that this guy has in power. 1600, oh wow, almost at 1700, and nowhere near damaging, though the dupes have been doing repairs. But yeah, we'll see what happens when this goes up to 2400. Another compartment of sleet wheat has been planted here thanks to the pips. So continue the same process. We'll destroy this, copy settings over here. We'll put in 20 pieces of sleet wheat there. Get rid of this guy as well. And check for any non-sleet wheat seeds. We're looking good. We got doors, so the pips can't escape. And we've got our cram molding. With that, I can now indicate that I want all the pips wrangled. And in time, they'll be brought over, and we'll continue over here. Oh, might as well cancel this one. I want the first piece of sleet we'd be added there. And why not just move that over here, because the pips won't be able to access that. Looks like the sleet wheat's already there, so we'll dump that on the floor for the pips. And I see some wrangling happening. Let's check on temperature up here. It is over 2,000 degrees. That's awesome. I should still see the carbon dioxide, or rather coal generators running. This time with tune-up, so 900 for each of those. That's awesome. And I've seen some salt water be brought over from the other worlds. I think now that we're got that one more compartment to do, I think I feel comfortable disabling water going into this. We'll know. Oh, that's not really what I meant. I meant to cut that here, though. Actually, technically, I don't think we need water up here because we've got enough in storage. But let me just enable that for the time being. But yeah, I want to stop water from going into the sleet wheat. I think we've got enough wild farming that is no longer necessary. So that's nice. So all this will just consume the last little bit of water. We'll get a little bit of sleet wheat seeds from it, and then we're done using water to generate sleet wheats. So that's going to save water consumption significantly. Whoa! Look at this steel. It's actually at 2100 degrees. It cooled down from when it melted, because it would have had to get to 2400. I expect that is due to the drywalling, because I noticed the drywalling temperature went up, which means that had a cooling effect on the steel. But the cool thing with steel is the fact that it's not going to actually become solid into 1000 degrees. So when it actually shows the property for liquid and solid, it's not lying. It turns the steel at 2400, at least I'm assuming that's what happened here. But once it's a liquid, it has to get down to 1000. So even though it's gone below what it took to make it liquid, it's okay. Until it gets to about 1000 or so. Interesting point. Now I'm going to make a pump out of steel and try to get this to pump as much of this into this system as possible before this breaks. So making it out of steel, which means it has an extra 200 degrees, so it can take on temperature, but it's probably going to heat up pretty quickly. I don't know if it has the same breakage rate of the Aquatune, or if so, we're probably going to have lots of time to get all this liquid in there. Alright, well this is exciting if that's the case. I'll head up that to level 6, bring that back to a 5. So I've got my all the ingredients to make steel. We'll go here, and I'm short iron, so maybe we'll have to produce a dozen or so pieces of that. If that gets created, we'll get a dozen or so pieces of steel. We have to wait for the coolant to go in here. Let's up the speed of this, and we should see this go on. In the meantime, I can go over here. I'll prep some material that I want to send over to the other world. I was going to do algae, but I want at least a little bit of sand, not sand, glass, so that I can make some solar panels when I go over to the other world. Oh, hold on. Or is that pointless because there's asteroids? Maybe that's pointless. You know what? I don't think I'm going to be there long enough to take advantage of that anyway. So why don't we just send the dupes over? They're not going to be there very long. I want to get some enriched uranium and some gold amalgam, and then they're going to get the heck out of there. Oh, just realized this pump is not going to actually be powered because the power point is over there. Do that at high price. Oh, that's a shame. Because I may have to destruct this, unfortunately, disable auto repair and rebuild it after that that power line gets put in. Just watching this pump get rebuilt. This time it will have power. So the moment it's on, okay, let's slow right down. I'm a little bit worried because this pump, I know, is going to take damage, but it's also going to have a cooling effect on the steel. And steel has already gone down to 1200, so very, very, very worried. It's looking like it's holding though. So the actual pump itself has heated up. We've got to about 1200 degrees. That's above the point that steel will turn to solid. It's red. Interesting. I've never seen this before. It's going into my metal refinery. So far, this is working. Like the idea of the, yes, you know, machines do take damage, but you can run them for a certain amount of time if you have a very limited process like this. How much liquid is actually left? 40. Yeah, we're going down. We're getting it in there. How much? I think this needs 800 kilograms, and we should have 1200. So that should be more than enough to actually allow the dupe to be able to run this and output even hotter material, which is awesome. Okay, they're doing fixing on the pump, but really, you know what? Let's disable auto repair. So I think all that liquid should be gone by the time any real damage occurs there. And the other thing to watch, I should see my ethanol line pass through, even though that this is now disconnected. That's good news. How much steel is actually left? 195. Still not enough coolant, but more's on the way. Alright, well, let's go inside this rocket. Let's put in, oh, I don't know, try 30 grams of edible food, see what happens there. Get the dupes to prepare that, so I'm going to actually choose 2 dupes. So I've got shovel, which I remove their skills, and I've got, I think it's blast. That's going to fly with rocket piloting, so I'm going to actually preemptively change the crew to include not just blast, but also shovel. Shovel, where are you? There we go. So that's those 2 dupes. So when that takes off, that will have 2 dupes. Oh, and I've loaded some... Actually, there's not enough in the world to put in how much... Oh no, I didn't want 6. That's actually... Let's put in 2 tons. This is... What am I thinking of? Lead. So that should actually be reduced. So in theory, I'm hoping that the actual remainder of the lead would fall in and lose that, right? I really hope so. Oh, and it's still in there. What's going to happen? Did the dupes actually have to take it out? It's a priority 6, so if that's the case, we should see a dupe unload. I don't want to send more than 2 tons. Let's just kick it out. There, now it drops. Put it back, and the dupe should take just 2 tons of that and send it back in there. Because I only have so much in that world. But the point of that refined metal, lead in that case, is to have it land here. And I just realizing any lead that lands here, the dupes won't have access to. So I might as well get the rovers. Now, if they're looking for something to do, is build a ladder system. Well, technically, it's not needed there, is it? So that the dupes can get across and get access. So they can build a landing spot for the rocket when it finally gets here. A little bit of exploring, been digging some of this gold amalgam. So that's going to be available to the dupes to just simply pick up when they get here. I wasn't able to get down here, but actually maybe I'll start the process. I'm going to have to wait till the dupes to actually get here, but what I want to make sure I do is put a gate in place just so that the betas don't escape on us when we finally get into this zone. So I see the first piece of iron must have been made because this is outputting hotter steel. It was, I think, about 1200, 1700 right now. It's not going into the rocket. Hold on here. Or is it going into the rocket? Yeah, oh, it is going into the rocket. Okay. Oh. Okay, I forgot something here. Something went wrong. Yeah, I never actually set this to be appropriate value. I don't know what value to make this. Let's just do 2400. The idea is it's going to keep... Yeah, now we should stop seeing stuff go into the rocket anymore. Instead, it should be going out here. Going back into this and keep heating up in the metal refinery until it's actually the appropriate temperature. We'll have to wait until when to do... Actually, you know what? Let's just get that liquid out of there, because I don't think it should be there at the moment. Just to make sure, we will cut this there. Get it out. And now that I have appropriate setting there, I shouldn't see any... What temperature was this going in? So 1500 is not enough. It needs to be very hot. So actually, maybe the fact that I said 2400 is not a bad thing. Okay, so someone has fixed that. That's not bad. But now I need to connect this like this. Don't want to change that. Okay, so in the future, I'm going to be getting this in here at 2400 or so degrees. Let's just go check on the pips. They probably made progress. Yes, they have. Another tile of sleet wheat can be planted. Just watching the pips work away and had that idea. I wonder if the next time I have a special tile that the pips don't put anything into, if I restart the game, whether that would have fixed that. Note to self for the future to see if that's the case. But we're very close to having our 4th floor of this stuff. Plant it, and I think with a tiny little bit more here, that will be enough sleet wheat. Just looking at this system here, and it doesn't appear there's enough to actually keep steel continually running in the line, because so much of it gets stored in here. So I think let's move, actually, yeah, let's move that up here just in case. Probably going to go into the build anyway, but what I want to do is build or melt a second one of these. I'm hoping 2 of them will be enough. We'll do the same thing, allow this to cool everything off, or at least the ethanol in the process of making more steel. I'll build a pump And hopefully 2 of those will be enough to kind of keep this continually warm. It's not warm enough right now, but more pieces of metal are being generated, and as such, we're going to get hotter and hotter liquid. 2200 degrees, we're close to the 2400. Okay, 2 dupes are going inside this rocket. I'm going to go in there and make sure I take off their suits, since I'm producing oxygen inside the rocket itself. Oh, I just realized I don't have a mission control station. Do I have to research for it complete? I forgot that. Anyway, it's not going to be rain time, whatever. I also need glass, but I'm going to hold on that launch until I actually know that the dupes have instruction to research glass. Because I'm going to be putting that right here. Actually, the other option is I put airflow tiles with a mission control station. If I build a mission control station right here, and hold on, I'm just gonna see if I can get this rocket to get this bonus. It's not that important, but let's put that right there. This is never meant to actually be used. The wire right there, but this does need power like this. I want to be trapped in a room with airflow. That. I don't know if I need the ends. Actually, I don't know if I need anything but directly above it. Let's try to simplify it by doing this. We're going to need a door right here. Technically, we need a light source. So we'll kind of do this with a tube sensor. Let the rocket take off. It's going to take a little bit of time to build this. It's such a short journey that it's not really that important, to be honest. But it'll be in place, if not for this rocket, for the next rocket. I just need to make sure that's big enough. But we'll see when it's built. And, oh, right, one other thing. So this research station won't be used because it's not actually going to have power, but if I'm going to keep it out in space, I guess I didn't need the drywalling, but if I had built a conductive panel like this, oh yeah, I could just do this, you know what, and connect it like that, and that would have worked. I'll just have to disconnect this when that goes through. Let's check on the pips. Otherwise, I'm going to keep losing progress. Oh, one more to go, or 2 more to go, rather. And then if I can get this built, the scientists will actually use it. Make a priority in connecting that with power. And we'll get a small 20% speed boost. Though in reality, it's half a cycle until they arrive, so really not that concerned. I see this is going green, which means we should be having liquid that's very hot going here. We are. Awesome, 2400. And it's coming out at 1500. It's almost 1,000 degrees change. Okay, I wasn't thinking it was going to be that extreme. Holy. And that's just a single non-radiant pipe that's causing the difference. And it's cooled the whole set of steel down so much that I'm not getting any anymore. Until the metal refinery runs. Oh, there's a little bit more in the way. That might just actually be the fact that I don't have enough. What has it done to the wall? 300 degrees. And rising. And, okay. This is weird. 21 degrees. 20. Okay, it seems like there's a big temperature exchange from here to the rest of the rocket. It looks like it bypasses these guys here and continues on heating, because this is space. There's no heat transfer from like within here. I think I'm making this assumption, but I think what's happening is the game's basically said, okay, yeah, you know what? If you really want to melt the rocket wall, go ahead, go nuts. But we're not going to let you go without your gas input and output, which is really awesome, actually, because I never really thought about that. But what if I had to melt it? If the game hadn't done that? Yeah, it's really cool that I have access to get out here, but I can't get any liquid in, at least from piping and gassing. So I guess that's a good thing. And that's possibly indication that this might work. Because if that weren't the case, then maybe this would have stayed at an even 20, indicating that no matter what you do, you can't increase it, even though it says that it can be melted. But it's up to almost 400 degrees, or yeah, 400 degrees, so it's a good sign. Also, random thing, I don't know if currently outside at the moment, I don't know if you can hear any other bugs or critters or anything that's around, or the winds. If that's the case, just let me know in the comments, and I'll locate out here next time I'm filming, hoping my noise cancellation is addressing that. Anyway, random bit there. So this guy here, 600 or so degrees, it's going to eventually melt a little bit more to go on that side. I'm going to make this a higher priority task because we really want to keep this running, keep the heat up. Another exciting moment with the pips. I have this pip here that's going to plant the final piece of sleet wheat right along there. With that, I can get rid of this, and I will copy this setting, and we will go down to the last section I have. For this, we'll do, I think, 12, well, let's do 15 pieces of that sleet wheat going to be stored there. And we'll wrangle some pips, and then we're done with the pips. Alright, well, at least, no, that's not true. We have to go off to pinch of pepper plants, but we're done with sleet wheat anyways. Over here, so yeah, I should see that these are no longer producing anything. Might as well dig them all out, because I'm no longer consuming. Oh no, that's not actually true. I still have water in there. Never mind. Let's just leave that alone for a little bit longer. Damaged overheating keeps making me worried, but then I remembered I'm actually intending that to happen for the time being. Just seeing that this building is not happy. It's probably because that room's not big enough. Laboratory needs to be nice if the icon indicated specifically. Yeah, minimum. Oh, it says here I don't have to. Minimum room size 32. Oh, and what is the actual room size? 27. So that is 5 more to go. If I destroyed this, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Technically, that should be fine if I did this. Right now, I'm not even going to bother putting drywalling. Now that is mission control stations -38. That is thanks to the ethanol that's going through. Let's make a cut here because that's a bit confusing for the line and less efficient. Actually, yeah, we want to have this continually running. So actually, glad to catch that. I'm putting some, or removing some of the lead stuff that I had down here, wiring covered in that, because I want to get some lead back, so that I can build that, or I can build stuff with it. The thing I'm going to be building is probably going to be lots of auto sweepers and that type of thing down here. Now that I've got all this set, I'd like to have it automated so that it can be picked up and sent to storage. Still have first pieces of sleet wheat running. Let's make sure that this is set to take in the sleet wheat when that finally happens. It doesn't have power, hold on. Thought I connect. Oh, I see. It's just not actually threaded all the way through. So it's going to be a little bit longer, but when this first piece of sleet wheat from my new wild farm setup is ready to go, it's automatically going to be taken to storage. Do the same thing with these guys as well. Okay, let's look at our new mission control station. I guess we won't know if that's happy until that is actually built. We may not get... Yeah, it doesn't matter. This guy's here. It's a short journey. Let's deploy the material. That's the lead. Let's send shovel down, the non-pilots. They can... Why not just land them right there? Oh, this is super convenient. So the other dude's just going to hang out... Oh goodness, I forgot. Oh, it's not that. It's not great. To take off their suit, because, unfortunately, whoops, what I did here is the dupe that's landing is wearing a suit that doesn't have as much oxygen as they should have. Empty storage. Empty storage. Empty storage. But maybe we'll have enough. Because there's lots of oxygen. Oh, there's lots of oxygen. It's polluted oxygen, but I'm not gonna perish. So they don't look like they're wearing a suit. That's just the visuals. They actually are. Yeah, you can see they're. Where are they? No, maybe how? Which suit did? Hold on, I'm a little confused right now. Oh, I took the wrong. Oh, okay, I see. I took their suit off just before they landed. Well, that wasn't that smart. But it's okay, because as I just pointed out, if they need access to oxygen, they can go in here. They're doing mopping, letting the. I guess that's fine. They can let the rovers do this little bit of work, and we will build a rocket platform when there's enough lead available. Thanks to all this stuff being open, I'm going to just preemptively tell all the rovers and dupes to open everything, because I'll probably want to have access to a little bit of lead for other purposes than building a rocket platform. And where should I put the rocket platform? Oh, I think that's why I built this ladder. I'll put it right up here. Just noticed that I see carbon dioxide that is liquid. That might, I suspect, will be an issue for the sleet wheat. Also, it is below -50. That is an issue for the sleet wheat. So what I did, and I didn't realize I didn't have the ethanol line going through here. That's going to take a little bit of cooling in and actually have a warming effect. So I'll make sure this is appropriate temperature for the sleet wheat going forward. So we now have unpacked enough lead to make a rocket platform. Dupe's having a little bit of difficulty, I suspect, because they can't breathe. That's my bad for not managing the suit situation, but they'll make it. And they'll be able to make sure the other dupe is able to land and join them on this race. Let's look at... I know what this is. This is over here. 1700 and rising. So that's good. I see this is green. Let's go inside the rocket to see what kind of progress we're making. 700 degrees. So I'm still concerned about this turning to solid steel. Until this gets well above 1,000, that will be the case. But, well, it's 800. It is on its way up, so that is a good thing. One of the things I haven't really been watching is this system here. I do have some nuclear waste. I'm out of the enriched uranium. It's kind of why I'm not watching it that much. It's really focusing on getting... Oh, our platform exists. Okay, so we can click on this and change. And we can actually land on this planet now. So that allows this dupe to be able to get out. I packed some sand with me. At least I think I did. Just as soon as that lands, I just want to tell the dupes not to restock this. There's no point. Disable the building. In fact, you can destroy that same thing here. Don't put anything in. And you can destroy that. So yeah, that dupe's able to get out, join this base. What I might do is, I'm gonna say enriched uranium goes here as well as gold amalgam. Actually, no, I'll just put that inside the rocket. Let's destroy this, because I want to take this food out and store it if I can, because it's just gonna go bad if I keep it here. But I want to convert these for, yeah, see, that's the sand that I brought with me. I want to say now, make this enriched uranium. That's what I want to take back. In metal ore, I should, actually, there's some cobalt. Let's concentrate on gold amalgam first. That's probably more of a priority. Okay, over here, 2100 degrees. That's getting nice and warm. The liquid steel is not hot enough at the moment. So that's bypassing this, waiting for one of the dupes to create some metal to heat things up. So I messed up. I let the dupes go, or pips rather, go down here before I put the crown molding down. So I'm going to put this in. I have instructed the dupes to do some digging. I'm going to try to, as soon as they finish digging, to put in these pieces, just so I can convince the pips to plant from left. No, sorry, from right to left. Hold on. You don't need to do that one. So we have those 3 in place. That's actually not a bad thing. Alright, I guess I can go and fix this. Let's just wait for a couple more. There we go. Now I think we're fine. We're at the point where next one gets planted here. And this is exciting because this is the last pieces of sleet wheat that I need to get from the sleet wheat farm. So we've nearly completed that goal. We just need to put in the actual full automation that goes around it. Hey, look at this. More liquid steel. Gonna build a pump right here. Do that high priority and let's get that into this system. Hoping that will be enough. Because what I want to keep, or what I want to have happen is even if this thing gets filled up. Oh, I see. I'm absolutely certain there's a more efficient way to do this. And what I'm thinking, maybe this is what I should have actually done, is put this here. And then we've done this sort of thing. Oh, I guess, yeah, it's not going to hurt. Oh, well, I'm assuming it's not going to hurt to take in more seals, so I'll keep that pump in existence. But yeah, the idea is even when things are hot enough or I stop producing metal, I want things to continually cycle through. Continually increasing the temperature. What is the temperature? It's almost 900 degrees. We haven't reached that magical sort of 1000 degrees where I don't have to worry about steel cooling down to solids. Okay, so just to get an idea of how much it takes, I've created 12 pieces of iron and 12 pieces of steel. I've asked for another 12 and 12, so 24 of each. And so far, if we look inside, that has raised things still under 900 degrees. So quite a bit of heat, but also a lot more to go just yet. Over on this planet, we've been upping morale a little bit. We've got a Great Hall and a Nature Reserve, each giving them +6. So that should keep these dupes happy enough while they're here for this short period of time. Well, hopefully it's going to be a short period of time. Now I have access to a door here, so I can put in a spot to dig out. And we can get access to enriched uranium, which I see we have 63 kilograms of, thanks to the betas. I'm going to make some preparations inside this rocket before we go back. Temporarily got rid of the control center. What I want to do is just get as many of these bins as possible so we can store gold amalgam and enriched uranium. We should have made it down to the enriched uranium. I can see 13 kilograms. Yeah, we definitely have dropped that. And I also have a ladder down accessing this one. I'll up the priority. We got 74 kilograms. So definitely well over 100 kilograms to be bringing home. See if there's any other betas around, but I'm happy with that much enriched uranium. The betas that are here will generate some more while we're away. And I'm going to make sure that we get plenty of gold amalgam to load on the rocket before we get back home. Very exciting moment. I just have one piece of sleet wheat until I'm done with that. And don't... Oh, yeah. There it is. Boom! So yeah, I don't think the dupes are celebrating that, but technically they should be. That is all the sleep week that I need them to do. I guess I'm just gonna let the rest of the pips. You've done a good job. You're now free. You can wander around the base. Let me just put that ladder back. One thing I still have to do, not much work, just a little bit more in terms of automation around here. The main thing is, actually before I apply everything, I want to make sure I build all the conveyor loaders first. I'll just do a little bit of cleanup. Get rid of this ladder. I think it's just the one more conveyor loader to be put in or designed in. Dupes are doing a little bit more building. Okay, so allow the dupes to get caught up on that. Technically this can go. But yeah, that is amazing. I guess we can start looking where we're going to put our pepper plants. Okay, what else? Let's go over here. How are we doing with this setup? I see liquid is not hot enough. So that's going out at 2200 degrees. Nice and warm. We're not... Okay, so we're going to have to put in... This time I'm going to do 24. Or sure, whatever. Yeah, I'll do it. We'll do them increments of 24. 24. So far I've... Let's try that again. So far I've generated 24 pieces of iron, 24 pieces of steel. I'm asking for another 24 each. And what has 24 pieces given me in terms of heat? 100 or 1700. So we're getting close. We're closer to melting it than we started with. So I think we can do this. The only disappointment that might happen is when it actually gets to the melting point, the game actually doesn't allow it to melt. Okay. One other thing. I don't know if it's necessary. Yeah, actually. I don't know if it's necessary, but I'm going to do this too. I'm going to remove this because I know it's no longer possible to make solid steel because it's already above that 1000 degrees. So I might as well make them both obsidian pipes. Is there any metal that I could put in? What was gold? If I made radiant gold pipes or solid gold, it would... No, that's not going to be good. It's going to melt. What about copper? No, steel. I mean, if steel is no good, solid steel will melt at 2400. I'm just wondering if I could find a radiant pipe. What can I generate? Maybe not. Maybe it's not necessary. But within here, tungsten. I don't normally create tungsten as a solid has... Whoa! Okay. Let's create some pieces of tungsten. And that might be necessary. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to try to get away with just the non-radiant pipes, but it looks like we can put tungsten in place. So that's exciting. Let's go check on these dupes, because their mission is to bring back some enriched uranium. I should see that. Here, let's have a look. Enrich. Because I don't... Okay, this hasn't been loaded yet. I don't want to take off until that is there. Also, gold amalgam, 9 tons. We can get more. Have I asked? I'm asking for enriched uranium. I'm going to say, let's do this. Let's have this one is just enriched uranium. The other ones can be for gold. And copy it like that. Gold will be priority 5. This will be priority 6. So we should see some enriched uranium at some point. Let's go back and look here. Is there anything else we need to worry about? Oh, food. Food. I was trying to find a food storage place and kind of gave up because there wasn't carbon dioxide, but, well, there is now. And I could easily store... So that's pretty far down to go, polluted oxygen. I certainly don't want to store it around there. I don't want to store it in liquid. Let's put some food storage here. We also probably... Oops, if I want these dupes to survive... We may need to produce a little bit of food. I did plan for that. Just don't have it built. So we're going to put a farm right here. Going to pump some polluted water into it. And grow some stuff locally. Mopping up. We're getting their feet wet every time they go to the washroom. We can also just dig that out. That's going to give us some short-term food. Hopefully we have some bog bucket seeds. But yeah, that's more important than loading the cargo ship. We're inside the rocket and we're above 2,000 degrees. So getting close to what the game says is its melting point of 2,420 some. Let's go over, see how these dupes are doing. Should see, hopefully. 100 kilograms of enriched uranium is on board. 10 tons of gold amalgam. But we got to address the food situation. So let's start growing some bog buckets. Or at least producing food. We should have food storage happening now. Put everything edible down here. So with 4,000 and some calories, we can only last about 2 cycles. But we can dig that out, expand that. If I have to, I'll pull from this, but that would affect my nature reserve. So I'll try not to use that if I can avoid it. But with bogweed growing, it should improve things a little bit anyways. Only 4 seeds are available. I could pull these ones, but they're also represent the possibility of wild plants, so I'd like to avoid that if I can. We can get access to this one. And these, one thing I can do, if we want to just up the amount of food short term, I can say we can manually harvest those. So that's good. Oh, another piece that I can grab from here as well. So I think we're going to be fine from what I see. Actually, that's not happy, so you know what? Let's dig that out and plant that over here. So I believe I have all the conveyor loaders set. The first plant that I put in is still at 79%. They are slow growers, but that's why you need so many of them. Now I'm going to mass apply sleet wheat seed to be scooped up by all these. Oh, I just realized some are still missing. This one, here, and over here as well. I'm going to face this one that way. Make sure they all have power, and I'll have to apply their setting after they're built. But yeah, that completes this process for automation. You can now work on the pinch of pepper plants, and I've decided where that's going to go. That's going to go down here. So I'm going to have 3 tiles available to plant. That's going to be underneath. And then I'm going to have a break of 3, and then this was sand, so I'm going to change this to copper ore. Continue on this way until I've got this area full of that. I'll have to get rid of some of the wild plants that are already there, but we'll do that in a second. Alright, this is quite exciting. We're at 2,200 degrees. Again, we still have to get up to 24, but we are closing in on what I think may be enough to melt this wall. just over in this world, and I realized I should get access to some rare materials or stuff I don't have, such as a thimble reed seed and a bud plant. So, oh, there's some food as well. Which are going to get their feet wet, but let's get in here and make sure we bring this back home with us before we go back. Doing some insulation here just so I can make sure that these guys stay happy, because they like to be nice and cold. Unfortunately, you got this hot zone. It's surrounded by this light. It should be fine. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to add in some insulation here before we take off. So I put some tungsten in here, and the idea that's just going to speed up the heat transfer. Heat of the steel going in is 2500 degrees. That's hot enough. We're just waiting for the actual wall to get to the appropriate temperature. It's getting there pretty quickly to 61, 62. So I'm probably going to stay close here to see if this actually melts. Yeah, okay, ever since I put the tungsten in, I can see that, no surprise, radiant pipes is going to transfer the heat a lot faster. Radiant pipe, or the tungsten doesn't melt. I wouldn't have thought to use tungsten because it doesn't have as good overheat temperature as steel, but it doesn't melt at the same temperature that steel does, so that's kind of interesting. All right. Just gonna give the dupes something to do here. I'm gonna get some more of these natural tiles built in preparation for making this a great area for growing some pinch of pepper plants. Actually, my experience doing this kind of design can backfire because sometimes the tubes get stuck down here, so maybe if they end up doing construction here, they can still get out. Wandering Skylab, appropriate name. Never really noticed that. This is very much a lab type rocket. Oh my goodness, almost at 2400. Okay, we are at 2400. And we're going for 2400 and what? 2426. We're like 20. Oh, is it going to actually melt or not? Yeah, it's going. Oh! Oh my god. Okay, technically I can't get my dupes out in space, but I'm pretty certain I can melt this one now. It's just a matter of time. This is so awesome because I'm going to be able to build out here, which means I could have a cooling system, I could have a farm. I do have light, right? I could have solar panels. I could have a great hall. Oh my god. My mind is just a buzz right now. Okay. Let's think about this. That window made of diamond. Oh, that's not melting. That's gonna be a 3900. That's enough. Let's think about. Let's go back to this. Okay, I didn't actually prepare for this situation. Let's just make something ridiculous. 5. Okay, never mind. 6,000. So it stops going in the rocket. Go back in here, so we should stop seeing. Oh, more has been destroyed. Now, this is all for naught if the dupes can't actually build out here, and I've never actually seen that before. So the next experiment is to see if they can actually get out there. Well, it's not complaining about it, but it doesn't mean the dupes can actually walk out here. Maybe there's some sort of invisible barrier, even though I melted this, it's technically not allowing the dupes to go out. Let's see, is anyone about to board? Oh, someone has gone in. Well, they can supply material they can build. And they're noticing how... I guess that is something. I have to figure out how to cool this off. Because, okay, it's great that I melted it. I don't actually want a rocket that hot. and really hoping that just the fact that that ladder can be built, I suspect we can get over here. I don't know if I should even bother mopping up that because it's probably way too hot. How I'm going to cool this off, I have no idea. Just going to make sure that the other tubes have something to do. Sometimes that can backfire if they stand here. Do I need to have the dupe stand here when they destroy it? They may not do that. Ah, yeah, I knew you were going to do that. Please go up here. You know what? Let's now... I don't think we should see a dupe get stuck down here since these are already built. We built that first and then do that. Okay, going back here. Yeah, they can. They totally... Hold on. And just to be absolutely certain, yeah, this is just normal space that dupes can go and access, build stuff. This changes so much, and I don't even know... Like, this changes so much. I could possibly have a self-sustaining area. I could store a whole lot more. I could have morale benefiting rooms. I could have a washroom. My mind's just going crazy. It works. It works. Yeah, if anyone knows of any more efficient way of doing this, be nice, but this isn't too bad. I'm happy with what I've got. It works. Does the job. Technically, I now need to put an engine on this if I actually want it to be a rocket. Okay. That is so awesome. That is so freaking awesome. Over here, I'm just waiting for the dupes to load in more material, add in some insulation. So they're kind of... Oh yeah, that's not good. Before I forget, I do not want to take off without my thimbleweed seed and buddy plant. So I'm just going to mark this to be done now. That is both seeds. So I want thimbleweed seed and buddy is going to be... Oh, they haven't actually landed on the floor, therefore they're not there. Okay, I'll have to make sure I don't forget. Reason being, I think that's it for today. Okay, so we didn't really do anything with this. I kind of thought we would, and then we ran out of enriched uranium. But a team is over here. They're collecting enriched uranium, but I'm going to have them stand by because I want to have gold amalgam go back first. Okay, no, but one thing we did do is we've got lots of slate wheat. Planted, tons of that. We were able to disable this. I can see that, I think that has had effect on this because we've got a lot more salt water. Though, mind you, I'm still bringing in salt water from the other world. But, far more important than anything else, this affects not just this gameplay, but any other gameplay in the future. I can actually build stuff out here. I have no idea of what I even want to do. I'm probably going to be staying up all night dreaming about this. But the next episode, I guess first of all, I'm going to have to devise a method to cool this off. But once that's actually cooled, I need to come up with a plan. I mean, this is sizey space height of so I guess we're looking about 32 by 32. And we have to work around these tiles. I could melt these more tiles, but you know what? I think I'm happy enough with that. And it's nice knowing that you can't melt, or at least I'm assuming you can't melt these guys, given the fact that they're 2,000 some degrees and then 20 next to it. I'm certain that's the case. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and make a plan to make a really awesome rocket that I've never had access to before. The only last thing to think about is this game breaking? And I'm tending to think not. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the people's thoughts are on this, but I mean, it allows you to melt it. It's not like I tricked the game to kind of build something and use some obscure thing. I mean, I think the thing is, it tells you what melting point it is. I just followed that and melted it. And now I have access to all the space outside my rocket. And I can do so much with it. I could have a team of dupes be able to... The other thing, I could have these Atmos suits available with oxygen generation on the oh my god. Okay. Suffice to say, I'm really, really excited about this. Yeah, okay, so I'm definitely going to be working on that in the next episode. I hope in the next episode we can finally give this a test to see how my waste goes, and we'll start planting some pinch of pepper plants down here. Amazing day, and oxygen not included, and of course I do want to get the music moo or whatever the update it is called looked at, but actually, you know what, with this improved rocket, that's going to make that a lot easier. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully I will see you in a future episode where I'll continue on and decide what I'm going to do with this rocket, amongst other things. Until then,